Hi everyone, and welcome back to Conquering Math, where it all adds up. So in everyday life, we use negative numbers when direction is important, such as when objects are rising or falling. And so today we'll be taking a look at how we can multiply with these negative numbers. And this comes in handy especially when looking at changes over time. So let's get started. Today's learning target is I can find products of positive and negative integers. So today we're going to be looking at how exactly we solve these types of problems. And it's actually pretty simple. The first thing you have to do is look at the factors. Do their signs match? So this means you're looking at whether they're both positive, both negative, or one of each. If they both match, in other words, two positives or two negatives, then the product will be positive. If the signs of the factors don't match, so you have one positive and one negative, then the product will be negative. And then the only other thing you need to do once you decide on the sign of the product is multiply the digits together just like you would normally, and you're all set. This reference sheet can really come in handy when you're trying to solve these problems. You might want to stop and copy this down on your own page so that you can refer back to it later on. If you take a look on the left-hand column, we have the two factors. If we have a positive number times a positive number, we will have a positive product. If we have a positive number times a negative number, we will have a negative product. A negative times a positive also gives a negative product. And finally, a negative times a negative will give us a positive product. So let's take a look at our first example. We need to find the product of negative 5 times 9. So we have one negative number, which is negative 5, and one positive number, which is 9. So our answer will be negative. And then at that point, we just need to multiply together. So 5 times 9 is 45, and since our answer should be negative, now we know that negative 5 times 9 is negative 45. All right, let's take a look at our second example. We have negative 4 times negative 6. Remember that when you have a number pushed up against parentheses like that, it still means multiplication. In this case, the sign on both factors are negative. So since they match, the answer will actually be positive. Remember, a negative times a negative gives us a positive. 4 times 6 is 24, so negative 4 times negative 6 is positive 24. Okay, one more example, and then we'll go on to our word problem for today. We need to find the product of 12 times negative 7. Once again, we have a positive number in 12, and we have a negative number in negative 7. Since the signs of those two numbers don't match, the answer will be negative. 12 times 7 is 84, so 12 times negative 7 is negative 84. And as usual, we will wrap it up with a real-world example. So Kennedy withdraws $50 from her account every Friday. If Kennedy continues this pattern for 8 weeks, what is the change in her account balance? So let's start by kind of writing out what we're looking for here. We want to know the change in account balance, and that's going to equal the number of weeks times the weekly transaction. In this case, we have 8 weeks, and we have negative $50 a week because she's withdrawing that money. So we have the balance change equals 8 times negative 50. The signs don't match, so the answer will be negative, and 8 times 50 is 400, so the answer is negative 400. So we could say that the change in Kennedy's account balance is negative $400 after 8 weeks. So this was a pretty quick lesson today, but just for a review, we learned how to find products of positive and negative integers. If the signs of the factors match, then the product will be positive. If the signs of the factors don't match, then the product is negative. And then at that point, you just need to multiply the digits together and put the correct sign in front of it, and you're all set. So what should you do now? You should go ahead and complete the independent practice problems and then watch the solutions video to check your work. If you don't have the guided notes packet, don't worry about it. Just watch the video and you can pause it at the beginning of each problem, solve it on your own, and then unpause the video to check your solution. Thanks for joining me for this episode of Conquering Math, and I'll see you next time.